Just start talking.
You start.
I should start.
I should start talking.
Yeah. It's recording.
Yeah, we're recording.
So I'm doing the intro. Hello, welcome to the pod.
Yeah, you know how to YouTube.
Hello, welcome to the podcast. I'm joined by Oliver of Tano Tributes and Corbin of Rando Mando. We're talking about the Bad Batch. I can see the shock on Corbin's face. I'm
Tano Tributes.
Yeah, Corbin's also part of Tano Tributes, but he has.
But you know, you've got to credit your own channel, Corbin.
Nah, I think I've stopped with Rando Mando for the minute.
Oh no,
hey, the fans love it.
Yeah, exactly. This is probably as far as you guys are listening in, but hey, you know, production quality has gone up. We're all at the same time. We're happening. We can hear each other. We're a new legend. We're new people.
A new legend. It's an awful phrase.
You know what I meant. You know what I meant.
All right. Are we going to talk? Are we going to talk about the show? Let's dive right into this.
Now,
Oliver, what's this podcast about? We haven't even told the fans what we're doing today.
It's the Wandering Togruta podcast, and Angus already mentioned we're talking about the Bad Batch. It's a show that came out. It's a little cartoon. The
Clone Wars 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Exactly.
Damn right.
We wanted sequel that we actually did want, but nobody wanted it because they said the Bad Batch are generic stereotypes, and some people still think that. Let's discuss.
Yeah. Well, honestly,
what did you think, Corbin?
I thought it was great. You know, it was just a little bit childish, but not too childish, and then it had the adult themes.
The Clone Wars.
Exactly. Yeah. It was essentially Clone Wars 2.0.
It was a step up from Rebels, I think, like age-wise.
Oh yeah, it definitely wasn't for viewers as young as Rebels viewers.
Definitely. Being able to be released on Disney Plus meant that they didn't have to worry about audience age.
Did you see that scene with Crosshair? Did you see that scene with Crosshair?
Which one?
Sure did.
We won.
Exactly.
This show has, like, from what I've seen on the internet, people say it's got too much filler in that, but like I'd argue there's only really like 2 episodes you can really call filler, if that. And even those ones I think will come into play. Like the people always point to Infested with the Pikes, right? And like so that's filler, but I reckon that's going to lead into some stuff in season 2 with potentially Darth Maul.
After thinking about it for however many weeks it's been since the last episode, 2 weeks at this point, I think 3.
2 or 3.
Yeah,
2 or 3.
I feel like the Bad Batch was. I feel like it was playing it safe. They didn't try anything super out there, which reminded me of the Clone Wars season 1. If you think about, Clone Wars season 1, season 2, they're all relatively
tame.
Yeah, there's no magic witches in season 1 or 2. There's no Darth Maul coming back in season 1 or 2. There's no.
We won't get
any of the really fan favorite arcs are when they take risks, they try new things, and that's not something Disney and the team obviously wanted to do on season 1, which that's fair.
Yeah, I think it would be to the detriment of the show if they just jumped into all these crazy stories at the start. I think you need to start a little more grounded.
Yeah, we need to get to know the Bad Batch. Yeah, and I feel like this season did that really well for some characters, and it did poorly for other characters.
True. Like I feel like they could have focused a bit more on Crosshair's character.
On Crosshair and on Echo, both.
Yeah.
Okay, Echo.
And like when Rex mentioned Fives and Echo, he had his helmet on. You couldn't see any of his facial expression. And there was like they didn't mention it. It was just a brush thing. Like they didn't really talk about it. Like that's a major thing for Echo.
I reckon let's just go into all the things we don't like first.
All right.
Like that's a good segue. So Echo, let's talk about like how little Echo was really used in this season, which is probably my least favorite aspect of the whole season.
Yeah.
And that scene, like you were saying with Fives, like, because he's like, Rex says, Fives tried to warn me about the chips. It's still hard to believe now, Echo replies. But he's not even talking about Fives. He's talking about the fact that there's chips. He remembers Tarkin more than he remembers Fives.
Exactly. Like, I guess like they could explain it with like he's had memory loss, but like it wouldn't make sense.
I doubt that.
Really. Exactly.
And like they had the perfect, like they've got AZ there, and it's like,
and they could have had him. They could have had Echo like at least have his helmet off when they mentioned him, so you get to see the hurt and the pain in his face. It's like we know with other things that they've done how well they do facial expressions. Like we could have like got a really emotional scene out of that, but we didn't.
I think, like, especially the episode Common Ground, where they saved that separatist senator, like, that was a completely missed opportunity to have Echo go through some real PTSD.
Yeah.
Maybe it wouldn't set in that quickly, but, like, you even saw, like, in the first episode when he wakes up in the med bay on Camino, I thought they were going to follow that up more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we see more of that kind of stuff.
Would have been
I
better.
feel like the show writers thought, all right, the fans already know Echo. We should spend time letting people get to know the other Bad Batch characters.
Yeah.
But the thing is, since we care more about Echo already, we want to see more of him.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I think, like, there's room that like, just cut a bit out of that ATT action sequence in Common Ground and have, like, them walking through those tunnels towards the end, and Echo just has a conversation with that senator, and they talk about, like, the futility of the Clone War, and just something simple as that.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like, there's ways that even with the episodes they had, they could have just done more with Echo's character.
Yeah,
it's like this is like the last living remnant of the Clone Wars of the team.
Exactly.
He's just there, and he has like a few good, interesting lines, like when he's like, "Oh, you came back for me," and da 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 da. We're not going to leave him behind. He kind of guilt trips Hunter and Tech. Like, there's like little bits they give him, but there's no like substantial kind of.
They could have done a lot more.
Yeah.
But I'm not too much worried about it because there's multiple seasons of this, so I assume in.
True. As long as they go back and do explain, like talk about his character more, like build him up, build him back.
It's kind of hard because if you think about it, season 1 of the Clone Wars, there was also relatively little character development. But I wasn't even watching the Clone Wars when season 1 was the only season out. But presumably, if I was doing a review like this for Clone Wars season 1, I'd say Anakin didn't get that much character development. That's disappointing. But we have the hindsight to see the entire show and see that season 1 was only a stepping stone. That's what I hope is going to happen for the Bad Batch. It wasn't the best season it could have been, but it wasn't the worst season it could have been either. And I feel like we need to just put trust in the fact that it's only going to be upwards from here.
It's only going to be enhanced by the later seasons. And I actually do think this has been the best first season of any of the animated shows and Mandalorian, only because just the kind of sheer scope that we got to see of the universe. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff in Star Wars. So just, I guess, on that level, in terms of world building and state of the galaxy kind of stuff that it explored, I was really digging that.
No, that was pretty good. It was like, we saw quite a bit. Yeah.
I don't really know how long the season actually occurred over in universe, but I feel like the transition to the Empire is happening really abruptly. Yeah.
But I guess that makes sense, because if you think about it, the Emperor would want to get things done quickly. He'd want to be in power as soon as possible.
I would call it fast and not abrupt, I'd say, but there you go.
I really want to see the transition period, and they're not really giving us that so much. I feel like if they had explored Crosshair's character, we had more Crosshair POV episodes. They could have really explored that. How do the clones feel about this transition? How do the non-clones feel? How do the officers? What do the not specifically Yularen, but what do people like Yularen think of this transition?
Yeah. And I think they kind of start to explore that. There's kind of little hints to it where, do you remember in episode 3 Replacements, where there's the elite squad, right?
Yeah.
And they're sitting in the medical room or something, and those droids are doing tests on them or something. And he says, one of the guys says, he's the one that gets shot by Crosshair later. He's like, I didn't join the military to be studied and poked at. And then the girl talking to him, she's like, what does she say? She's like, the war's over, who's left for us to fight? And then he says something like, with the Empire, I get paid, I get fed, and I have a roof over my head. That's more than the Republic ever did for me. It's little glimpses into that, that I do wish they tackled more of. And I can see it being in the second season more, though. But just those kind of bigger questions about, that obviously he's not a clone, but how do people react to the Empire on the whole, and how do the clones feel about the fact that
Yeah.
and we like you kind of get a bit of it through Crosshair, but he's completely steadfast pro Empire.
Yeah. And
So you kind of want to see a bit of the other side, but I think that that's why they have this destruction of Camino thing. And season 2, there's no way they're not going to address how the clones react to that,
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's that one clone that speaks to Rampart when he's like, all the cities have been destroyed, and he's visibly depressed by it.
Yeah. But
So
there was no real exploration of that.
I think it's kind of it wasn't explored like overtly. It's all kind of just implied, I think.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's setting up for a season. I hope in season 2 that they more obviously tackle it, because it's kind of like a background feature. Because when you have episodes like Infested, you're like, oh, well, we could have spent that looking at like Hauser. That's the episode right after the Ryloth episodes.
Yeah.
Like we should have got a direct follow up to that, I reckon. But I don't think they knew Hauser was going to be such a fan favorite.
Yeah, true. Oh,
But also,
I feel like they did. Like you give someone that cool of a haircut, there's no way that fans won't like him.
and
Like,
that armor.
Just saying.
He's
And he's a new character.
He's Discount Rex. I love him, but he's Discount Rex.
Yeah.
True.
I feel like Rex and him would get along really well,
Yeah, they would, I reckon.
which is
Feels like a younger Rex.
yeah.
And-
I guess, well, he's kind of already got the kind of steadfast morals of Rex later on in the war.
Yeah, definitely.
I really liked how they managed to build up like a new clone character in a compelling way within just 2 episodes. I thought that was really effective.
Yeah,
and
that's always something the team was good at doing, was writing compelling characters when the only thing they have to work on is a clone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess because collectively we're invested enough in the clones now that anytime there's a clone with colored armor showing up, we're just, oh my god.
True. Main character alone.
Yeah.
And that's something you brought up though about like why don't we see like paint washing off the armor? And it's like because the only person we really saw that with was Hauser.
Yeah.
And they're all just straight to
We're
white.
just I find it weird that we're just expected to believe that as soon as Order 66 happens, every clone in the galaxy, except for like Hauser and the Coruscant Guard, are shipped a new, fresh set of armor. Like, I know that Palpatine wants to already transition to faceless, identical soldiers, even more so than the clones. But logistically, it sounds over the top. And from the standpoint of how does this happen, there's no real explanation for that. We're just... It's the end of an era, but there's no transition period. There's no... We're moving away from the Clone Wars and moving into the Empire. It's the Clone Wars is over, the Empire is here. And that feels quite abrupt to me.
Yeah,
well,
it happened really
necessarily
fast.
that it's that abrupt because they're still the clones, right? And like on Camino, I think it makes sense because you always had just the plain white clones walking around in Camino. And like I think just things like seeing it on Seleucami, you have to just kind of suspend your disbelief to believe that, oh, this is like a day after the Clone Wars ended. Unless when they're on Seleucami, it's a few weeks, but it's the timeline's vague enough that you can maybe kind of headcanon it. But it's more interesting to see like just still have clones with their colors on. I think it is just thematically they want it to distinguish individual clones from the like it works thematically, but in terms of logistically, it's a bit flimsy, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But like, who knows?
Can we talk about Tech? I actually really like Tech. I really like Tech because even though he hasn't got so much character development, he's had a lot of, I think, characterization to where Wreck is like the big emotional center of the group. Like he's got the most emotional intelligence where Tech is very logic based. I think that's interesting.
I agree. I really like the dynamic of Echo, Hunter, and Tech when they broke into the facility. I forgot what planet it's on. Yeah, the mountain.
Dara?
Yeah, Dara.
Uh-huh.
Don't get me wrong, I love Wrecker, but it feels like he's sort of the odd one out in the group, where the rest of them, they're all able to go stealthy, and Wrecker's whole thing is big, loud machine gun.
Yeah. I think, it's interesting to see them hone, like, without him and, like...
Yeah, sneaking around isn't his strong point, let's say. And
what do you mean? Yeah, it is. Dunk, 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 dunk.
Would he have even fit in the vent that they snuck through?
No.
Wait a minute. The Bad Batch vented. That's kind of sus, guys.
Oh, shit. I swore on the channel when I went to swear. Who cares? No, but I think, and the best line in, like, the whole season, it comes from Tech in the finale. Understanding you does not mean I agree with you.
Yeah.
I love that line because it applies.
That was true.
It applies to real life, right? Like you can see where somebody's coming from, but that doesn't mean you support what they're doing. I don't know if I explained that.
Yeah,
right.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
And I like that it's like he's like, I'm not defending you. Understanding you does not mean I agree with you. Like, that's, again, he's very logic based, and I just find that that's an interesting character to put in the show, where it's like I think the way they show emotion with Tech, I think I noticed, is they have his eyes dart like left and right, like through the. I swear this is the thing they do. Like, every time they want to show he's kind of a bit in turmoil, they kind of have his eyes kind of dart a bit.
Yeah, and it's like just the facial expressions as well. As I said earlier, like, they know how to do it. The crew is really good with their facial expressions.
They've gotten really, I think Crosshair, like in the end of episode 3, like that scene where he just kind of sits down like in the barracks. They really sell it with just the way he's kind of moping, looking down, and the music in that scene is kind of like the end of the Clone Wars, like the victory and death music. It's clever how they do that. But no, and then there's the bit with Tech where Omega says, he's like, what was the war like? And he just gives like a really objective answer. He's like, it was a standard military something comprised of objectives, something like that. That's, I think, in the episode Reunion. I don't know. What does everybody think of Omega?
She has a lot of potential. From this season alone, I don't have too much attachment to her. Like, yeah, she's fitting in part of the Bad Batch, but
yeah,
perhaps too easily. But I feel like it's organic.
I feel like
we haven't known her long enough to really feel an emotional connection to them.
Yeah, same. That's what I think. Because like Oliver liked her from the start.
Yeah.
Sorry for saying that straight out and not letting you say it, but I felt her character was just brought in, and then like she connected way too easily with the Bad Batch, which, yes, that makes sense, but it also doesn't, because of like she's a young clone, and they don't even question that she's not like them, like she's completely different to them. And they don't question that as much as they should. But
don't they? Because they don't even believe she's a clone. Like because I think they do question enough. Because when Tech says, "Oh, she's a clone like us," and Wrecker's like, "How is that obvious?" Like,
yeah, but that's Wrecker. Wrecker is Wrecker.
Wrecker, okay, that's true. But I think she's had the strongest start of any of like the point of view Star Wars characters. Like the way Ezra starts, like they've made the first legitimately unannoying kid character in Star Wars. Like, literally, because I thought her implementation was wonderful. Like, I can't really pinpoint why, but I instantly thought
she's a compelling character.
Yeah,
but I just don't feel like, personally, I haven't known her for long enough to love her as a character.
Yeah, same here. But I do like her. I enjoy her character. I love her accent. not gonna lie. I'm a big doozy for accents, like English accent, Irish accent, and nowadays I love a good New Zealand accent. Like, mate, a Kiwi accent is like so good. Not as good as Irish, but
Yeah,
like,
the voice acting in the show, by the way,
almost level.
Michelle Ang as Omega, D. Bradley Baker as like every clone. He hasn't done a bad thing yet in Star Wars. D. Bradley Baker's still, I think, killing it as the clones.
Yeah. Yes.
We haven't even talked about any of the cameos yet. Do you want to talk about that? There's like 2 billion of them.
Kanan first, I guess, or
Most of them
Caleb
work.
first.
Most of them work, I reckon.
Caleb, I don't like his appearance because
just because it's so different to the original.
I don't really care about how it differs to the comic. I feel like showing his story from the Bad Batch's point of view does a disservice to him.
Yeah.
Because Kanan is an established, well-loved character. And to make such an important part of his life just a stepping stone for our main character's story kind of invalidates the importance to his story that moment had.
Yeah, true.
There is something to be said for it, though. Like, it's kind of cool that he's just like a footnote in that story. And if you've never seen Rebels, then he shows up there and you're like, oh, that's that little kid. And like,
but you don't even know that. I actually know his voice is very similar, but like,
too similar.
But like,
they got Freddie back to play him, and it was just, you can tell it's a 40-year-old. Whatever.
They should have got. I agree with who they got to do it because it's him. But they could have. He's a voice actor.
12.
He can put on a young kid's voice.
12. That was dumb. Actually, look, I actually really like the scene, but it just takes me out of it with the thing. Like, I like the scene in isolation, but like knowing it's Kanan, they could have just chosen like a random character, honestly.
Yeah,
maybe
they had to draw in fans of
all
my
main thing
all eras.
Is the comic thing, because it just kind of like
there was no point to retcon it.
Better,
and
I think
fits.
The comic story is better.
Yeah,
that's my problem. Is like, Ahsoka having blue lightsabers in Siege of Mandalore, the blue sabers, right? Like that was a cool change because it's significant because it's like, Anakin changed the sabers, and it shows like his ego, and now they're better because they're closer to me, maybe a little better, he says. Like the blue saber thing is like, part of the end of the show, and it's like it's better than the Ahsoka novel. Like the Siege of Mandalore, the whole portrayal of that isn't how it is in the novel, but it was better. With this, I think the comic was better. And that's true. Issue is like, if you're gonna retcon something, try and do something that you can consider to be better.
Yeah,
correctly. I don't know. Parkin was. Good.
It was an unnecessary retcon, I think, in like my opinion.
Oh yeah, it was unnecessary. Yeah, it could have just like, I liked that it was on Kala at least, and visually it's stunning. That opening scene is stunning. It's so good. But like the stupid things, like they changed the color of Deppa's lightsaber, the color of the armor.
Yeah,
it just feels like for no reason. But
yeah.
I don't know. Whereas Hera, they brought her in, and she didn't feel like a footnote in the Bad Batch's story. The Bad Batch are barely in that first episode with her. And you felt like you were doing service to that character while also getting a good story about Ryloth.
I loved Hera's arc because, like, and honestly, the main reason I really liked it was because it had Hera and had very little Bad Batch. Like, it didn't need the Bad Batch in it. Like, that was a good thing about it.
In that first episode, you needed that to set up the second part. You needed the first part to be Ryloth, Hera, Cham focused. Yeah,
exactly.
Those might be the best episodes, honestly. I like most of the episodes. Like, that's the thing. It's like we seem like we're kind of like down on the show, but like I actually found enjoyment in every minute of the show, if that makes sense. Like, if I'm just sitting down and to be entertained, I can find like little things I like in every single minute of the show.
That's fair.
Like there's always something, even if it's just like the animation, just or some like funny bit with like Wrecker and Omega, like with the Mantell mix, and
you can tell that there was a lot of love put into this show.
Yeah, and like you can feel the team dynamic. I think that they feel like a family and
a family. Yeah.
Did people like Sid?
Sid,
Very
Okay.
indifferent towards Sid.
I liked her.
I
Yeah.
liked her.
Whatever it is.
I liked her. I liked her like less towards the end, but sure.
She had some good lines, but overall, it's like if she wasn't in the show, if she was replaced, I don't feel like it would suffer. That's not just. I don't dislike her as a character. She's just she's more of a plot device. It kind of feels like.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. Yes.
Cutler Quain. That was cool to see him again.
Yeah.
It was cool to see him, and it made sense. Like,
yeah, it made sense. To,
that
like,
was probably the best part of it. Was it made sense? It wasn't just a random cameo that didn't need to happen. Like, yes, it didn't need to happen, but it worked and it made sense.
Yeah,
so
made
it was a good thing to put in.
Yeah, I think like most of the only cameo that I think was actually like felt out of place was the Bib Fortuna one, where he came to collect Muchi, the Rancor. That's not the Return of the Jedi Rancor, but isn't.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
That cameo just feels like a little too like. Oh yeah, of course, it's Bib Fortuna. It like the other ones seem to fit better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually really liked seeing the sisters again, Trace and Rafa.
I honestly liked that episode too. Yeah.
That episode
was cool. Didn't need to happen.
Yeah, it didn't need to
cool.
happen.
Hopefully,
I feel like
it sets up for the next season.
The hate they get is not because they're bad characters, but because they were in bad episodes.
I think the episodes are good and the characters are good, but they just had some cringy lines, and that's why people didn't like them, to be honest. I think it's just
the Trace and Rafa arc. We're going really off topic now. The Trace and Rafa arc was much longer than it needed to be, and it was very tedious to watch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look,
there was an episode where it literally started in the exact same spot it finished. Like
Look, Dangerous Debt is not a good episode. Yeah. I mean, it's got good moments, but like overall, it feels like in the final season, and they're just running around from Pikes, and they end up in the same cell, and it's it felt like the Last Jedi, like failure, they don't win, like on Canto Bight, like the Finn Rose mission leads to nothing.
Yeah,
but it's part of the theme of the movie. Failure, the greatest teacher failures. It felt a bit like that, but like I actually really liked the first 2 episodes of that arc, and the last one's pretty good as well. But like Gone with the Trace has a lot of, I think, great moments where she's like talking to. We are going way off topic, but she's talking to Trace about like the Jedi and how the underlings, quote unquote, on Coruscant see the Jedi. Like that stuff's always welcome for me in Star Wars.
Yeah,
and I like that they put those characters in and they portrayed that. But they were good in Bad Batch, and seeing the droid they're decommissioning the droids, that was interesting.
Yeah.
What are your opinions on the people that are saying that the amount of cameos makes the universe feel too small?
I
yes and no.
If the cameos make sense, like they did in this show,
some of them didn't, but
then I don't mind. I don't mind. Like, and I think it's, how do I explain it? It's like, I think the reason that we're seeing all these stories is because they're the important stories. Like the reason we see these stories where all these characters meet is because they're just trying to show us the most important stories. Does that make any sense?
Kind of.
So like, I can't, it's really hard it's kind of a hard concept to wrap your head around, but like, I think that it's like deliberate that they show us the stories where all these characters meet. But in saying that, they should also have stories like Star Wars shows that come out now where they just don't have any recognizable characters. So you can have both. But I feel like every show's from now on is probably going to have characters.
If you want a big like Avengers Infinity War for the Star Wars universe,
we need a big Avengers Endgame.
True. But
they're doing that. They're setting it up with Thrawn and the Mandalorian stuff. It's coming because they got Favreau on it, right? And he like started with Iron Man and everything on the MCU.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do that, you need to fill out the rest of the universe, because that's what makes Star Wars so compelling, is that there are 1,000 simultaneous stories in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
And if you forget about that, you're sort of losing some of what makes the universe so special.
Yeah.
Like, Wikipedia has 169,600. There's 269s in the current number of Wikipedia articles. That's as funny as it gets. But you don't get that many. All of those are a different part of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
that's not something that comes from telling one single story.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think that's what was so good about the Clone Wars, is the way they just, because it's anthology, they can just jump to tell these offshoot stories.
Yeah,
that's why I think Bad Batch, if it was full anthology, it would be like better, I think, for it.
Yeah.
But then you couldn't call it the Bad Batch, you just call it like Rise of the Empire. And that's how you get all your Imperial stories that you want.
And that might be something they do. Like, we might hear that season 2 is going to be the last season of the Bad Batch, but then after that, we're going to get season 1 of a new show in the same style by the same people.
Yeah, they just
they're definitely not abandoning Star Wars animation. That's what them doing Bad Batch confirms to me. They're not gonna stop doing animated Star Wars shows after Clone Wars season 7. But what I'm thinking is, like, well, they're not doing the Rebel sequel anymore because that got canned, so they could do it live action with the Ahsoka. So now, I guess they're gonna just have to keep doing Bad Batch, and then what? Go back to like a Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones series or something. That'd be cool.
I wouldn't mind a pre movies story. Not as far back as like High Republic or anything. Yeah. That being said, a High Republic show would be like High Republic animated show would be very cool.
Acolyte's kind of going to be that.
But if we get a show exploring what led up to the Phantom Menace, how the Trade Federation became so powerful, how the Republic became so corrupt, a show really exploring that would complement the universe very well, I feel.
Oh yeah, Jedi actually being peacekeepers.
Yeah.
Like the kind of stuff you see with Phantom Menace, like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan on like a diplomatic negotiation mission. Like, seeing that would be interesting, that side of the Jedi. And maybe you have the emergence of a Sith, and like, but then or maybe it's, I don't know, maybe you could see like a Darth Maul kind of thing where like they run into some Jedi, but Darth Maul like kills the Jedi so they don't get to tell the story. You know, you could do interesting things like that.
Would you want a Darth Maul backstory show?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes. Like, and I know that's Legends, but there is a book that does show a bit of it, and it's sick. Like, if they made that,
I like shows more though.
Canon. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. If they made that into a show, that would be sick. Because it's not like it just happens in one bit of time. So it's I don't remember it that well now, but so it was like how Palps raised him up on Mustafar, but then it was also like so it was like he was raised on Mustafar, and then but then it was like he went to some training place and he was training for years or something, and then it was pretty cool. But like he was taken from the Night Sisters really young age. That's
canon. That's like in Son of Dathomir.
Yeah, but like it's sick. Like if they make Son of Dathomir into a full show as well, I don't think that would be that great. But like something like it, like a TV special even. So it's just like a standalone movie, even like an animated movie. Like if they do something with it, that could be cool.
Sam Witwer would definitely come back as Maul to do Son of Dathomir, like animate that arc. I don't know why that wasn't in season 7. Like Dave Filoni said he almost did it, but he had to do the sisters arc instead to reintroduce Ahsoka. Like I get you have to reintroduce her before Siege of Mandalore, but also up like the greatest Clone Wars arc ever.
If they really wanted to, Bad Batch could have been 3 episodes. Martez Sisters could have been 2 episodes. And then you would have 3 episodes to tell another story.
But Bad Batch was already 4, so they kind of were locked into a certain narrative for it. But they could have just like, I wish they could just taken their time to just complete the whole series rather than jump straight into Bad Batch.
Maybe.
Because then you can, I don't know, then you can just jump into things where you just resolve Ventress's story and you can change the Cad Bane arc to having survived that thing, and then you jump into Bad Batch after all that. I'm surprised they didn't just do that. But then it just prolongs like the longevity of the stories. I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to say nice things about the show because I really love it. like my Star Wars brain loves it. Like,
yeah,
it's. I think it's ultimately like there's like shortcomings you can talk about, but like ultimately for me, it's like the kind of Star Wars experience that I've wanted for a while. Is just
I had a very good time watching the show.
Oh yeah, it was a great show to watch, and it was like I liked that it was week by week. It wasn't just released all at once.
Yeah, I hate that kind of binging model because you just get through things too fast.
I would have liked the opportunity to binge it. I feel like obviously not all of it would have been better, but most of the episodes would have been better if you could go straight from one to the next. Especially the complaints about filler would have been a lot less common if you didn't have to wait another week to see the next episode.
Yeah.
Because if it's ready, if the next episode is ready, they're waiting. Even if it's not like stellar.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that one wasn't so good. Jump into the next one. Oh, look, this one's much better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's certain like they could like the Ryloth 2-parter would be, even if they just did like release 2 a week, like certain episodes that link up, like the Ryloth 2-parter, you need those kind of to be watched together.
Yeah.
Like
if they did like a Wednesday and then a Friday release schedule for the series.
There's like but also like I liked that they just were able to squeeze as much, whatever it was, 16 weeks out of it.
No, I'm not a big fan of that because by the time you've finished the series, the start of the series is ancient history.
Yeah. Like, I think that here's the thing though, is like, I think the premiere set a precedent. I don't know how it's in Australia. President. Well, for like, it's a 70-minute premiere, so people assumed that we'd at least be getting like half an hour episodes after that.
Yeah, true.
I think Cut and Run just about gets there, but then after that, it's just mostly like
25
a minute longer than Clone Wars, I think.
Nah, they're around 25 minutes most of the episodes, and like Clone Wars is like 22, 23.
Clone Wars is 25 on Disney Plus, just because of like there's like extra credits in that, so it's around the same as Clone Wars, and sometimes a bit longer. It's like 27 sometimes.
You don't have to have every episode be longer, but when you have the option, I feel like it would have really been good to take more time on certain episodes. It would have helped with the character development complaints.
Yeah.
If you added 5 or 10 minutes to like every second or third episode
over
the season, that adds up, and that's more character development, more storytelling you've got.
Yeah.
I think I'll say like Aftermath is like, I was really impressed by the premiere of the show. It's the best like season premiere, and
that's fair
premiere ever for Star Wars. I think I love I really love. I think if you want to talk about like the transitions period, I think they portrayed it well within that episode. Like I love seeing the Saw Gerrera thing, where he kind of sets up their path of like, you can either adapt to survive or die with the past, and that's kind of like a statement that rings true throughout the whole show.
I would have liked to see more Saw though.
Oh yes, that was like Saw's best scene. Like that was Saw's best scene. Like Rogue One, run Jin, run! It's cringy. But this was like Saw as a that was the most compelling, I think, version of Saw we've ever seen, in that one scene where he's just like, everything we fought for, everyone we lost, and he's talking about Steeler. And the voice acting, I think his name's Andrew Kishinu, I believe, or something. He's the guy who saw in Clone Wars, and he came back, and he's definitely coming back for season 2.
Yeah,
I thought they might end the season on Onderon at one point. I was texting you like crazy cool when you remember.
Yeah, I do remember that, and it would have been good if they had, because like
I thought Kamino Uprising.
Kamino was good.
I like that I wanted them to end it on Kamino rather than Onderon, but I was just kind of thinking they might do it on Onderon. But people, so there was all the speculation, obviously, about the Kamino Uprising. Didn't happen, but I really liked what we got. and I think it's kind of more of a kind of eerie statement from the Empire that they just wipe it out before there is any clone rebellion.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the finale, that two-parter, but I feel like
it's good.
I would have liked more from it.
I can see that, yeah. I knew that as soon as I watched the second part, I'm like, I know that people are going to want more from this, but I was personally satisfied. Like, of course, I was like, oh, I want to see Boba, I want to see Vader, I want to see this and that. But I actually really liked how they just honed in on the characters and they didn't change the status quo. Like, Crosshair's still with the Empire, and it kind of gives you this perspective of like no matter how hard they tried to get him back, it's like, oh yeah, you saved the kid, but none of this changes anything. And I thought that was like it's like a Zuko kind of moment where like the road to redemption isn't going to be easy if it even is.
I've personally got nothing wrong with Crosshair not defecting. I feel like that would have been cheap for him to immediately go.
Yeah, no, I loved that.
Booga booga, leave the Empire.
Yeah. I feel like he is essentially Zuko. Like by the end of the series, by the end of the series, he will go back to the Bad Batch, but they'll tease it for a few seasons before. It'll
feel satisfying when it happens, rather than he's just like, hooray, I'm back with them at the end of the season. It would have just felt cheap. That scene's really good though, and the whole. Everything in those last two episodes with Crosshair, that he made a willing decision to stay with the Empire. Super compelling.
Yeah. But at the end of episode 16, there was nothing had changed for the Bad Batch. There was like, obviously Kamino's gone, that's a big thing. But for the Bad Batch and for their story directly, there was no bigger impact from episode 16 than there was from any other episode in the series.
I can see that, yeah. I think that there was the impact of like they now in their minds believe Crosshair's never coming back, because like Omega says as much, like, I wanted to believe it was the chip that was doing this, but I was wrong. And that's kind of that kind of statement of her kind of not believing that he's ever gonna come back. I can see like I'm kind of clutching at straws a bit there. Nothing much changes, but I kind of appreciated that because it felt kind of realistic in a way. It definitely felt more realistic that he didn't join back up.
Yeah.
When do you think his chip came out?
I don't think it did. I think it's just disabled, and it got disabled in the fire. So like, it's definitely not working.
I thought you meant like twist it back the other way, because that would just be such a cheat.
Nah, because I feel like why would the Empire like go to the trouble of boosting it to make it stronger and then just take it out anyway?
Yeah, I think it's the Venator. It's the Venator when they burnt his. Because when else would I don't think he willingly would have got it out. So, what do you reckon?
But maybe this is pure speculation, but it could be that like electricity machine wasn't boosting the chip. It was a replacement for the chip. They found a way to influence his behavior without having to have a chip inside his head.
That's a good point, yeah. But I think it's better if he's choosing the Empire of his own agency, like what he was saying about you will have to do this again, and that to me is like more interesting for the character. So I hope that it's nothing to do with.
And that's something the show would be very smart to explore: is what is free will.
True.
Yeah, it's expanding the themes in the Clone Wars. Agency versus compliance. Why are you laughing?
Because it's funny. Agency is not real.
Depressing. Kamino got destroyed, and the kindness just ripped my heart out with that clone theme. It wasn't funny, Corbin.
It was funny. I laughed when they were about to drown, mate. When they were about to drown, that was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. Like, man.
Sadistic. Can somebody kick him?
Ow. Oh, ow.
Well, Omega going after AZ. That was a complete like FU to like the droids as in like a peasant role. You know how like droids are kind of like the peasant class roles? And she was just like, no, droids' lives matter. And she just like swims down.
That was good, but then Crosshair saved him.
Yeah.
Imagine how much sadder it would have been if we hadn't seen Omega's death.
You don't kill off the next Ahsoka like that.
Oh,
She is the next Ahsoka. She's good. I really like Omega.
no, she is pretty good.
She was instantly endearing when she's like, "Hello," and they just like, and then Wreck is like, "What's that?" It's great. It's great.
I have a
felt-
question. It's semi-related.
Let's go.
How long do you think there'll be in universe between season 1 and season 2?
I feel like it'll be the first episode will have like a scene right after,
Nah.
like directly after, but then it'll cut to like a few weeks or months.
I reckon Styles always does time jumps, and I think they said it. Jennifer Corbett and Brad Rao, they're like the two like main creators of the show. They said that there's going to be a time jump.
Mm.
And how do you think all the characters, obviously, but specifically Omega, is going to change throughout this time jump? Because as the kid, she's going to be affected most if we skip a few years into the future.
It won't be years. I hope it's not years.
It will be cool to see like a adolescent Omega, but I feel like that should wait a few seasons before we get that.
Yeah, I'd like it to see us.
How old is Omega?
Start of Clone Wars, same as Boba.
Is she?
But she was made like
She looks a lot younger than Boba, because Boba's by the end of the Clone Wars already looks like
true. But then why would
season?
Actually no, she's the 20. Like how? Wait, hold on a sec.
Season 4 Boba looks like 16, 17 maybe. I think she's young. She's definitely younger than that. So
if the clones,
like
if the Bad Batch would be,
she's 24 years younger. That's not right.
The Bad Batch would be 20 years old their time, like 20 years old their time at the start of the Clone Wars, roughly. Assuming they're the same age as like the first batch of clone troopers.
I don't think they are, because
Omega would be at least 10 years old at the start of the Clone Wars, because she was there when they were created.
That's true. But I think that, what's it called?
I think she's about 13, 12, 13.
How they refer to Rex, though? The Bad Batch can't be that old. They can't be like first generation, because they talk to Rex and they kind of refer to him as being older. Like he's their senior.
Yeah, but as Angus just said, Omega was there when they were born, and she can remember that. So she can't have been like really young.
Yeah, that's true. Also, was 99 meant to be part of Clone Force 99, or am I just reading too much into it? Like, and that he was just a failed.
I think he was just a test.
Of that.
He was a test for it.
Wasn't he? I thought it was that he was a mistake, and then Clone Force 99 was named in his honor. Because
that's what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Also, did you guys like Rex's role?
Yeah.
I loved it.
It was pretty good. But again,
Rex's role was really good.
It was with the 5s. It could have done a bit more.
Yeah, but like that's more an Echo thing than a Rex thing. At least Rex said his name.
True.
All right. At least Rex literally, the only thing he thinks about, Order 66 comes down, the first thing he goes is 5s. It's just like, that guy, that son of a bitch was right. And like, I think Rex is definitely the key to kind of the larger plot of the show. Like season 2, if we're getting a clone uprising, not Camino obviously anymore, but like just a general kind of clone uprising, it's the key to it is Rex. He's doing something with. He's probably, when he says like I'm a little tied up at the moment, go get Gregor. He's probably trying to find Wolf. It seems like convenient that the things are happening at the same time, but I think that he's building some sort of larger thing, because he says to Hunter he's like, "Oh, your squad skills would be a tremendous asset." So he's definitely getting like something together. And it feels very in character for him to not stop.
Yeah. How long have we been going for?
No idea. There's no way to check.
Good. I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface. Like, what else should we talk about? Because I think there's a lot in this show. Like, they packed in a lot to 16 episodes, I think.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I can't think of anything really that I want to talk about anymore, though.
True, same.
I guess we can talk about the Nala Se ending. That was. Are we going to see Grogu in season 2?
Nah.
I don't think so. Season 2. I feel like that would be too soon. But
We'll get some.
It's going to be either explored by either Bad Batch or some alternative to Bad Batch.
Kenobi.
No, I think another animated show will be where it is because they've set it up for the animated show.
Yeah, I think
I don't now. It's like everything. I don't want to see Grogu in animation now.
Oh, really?
Just because of like, have you seen Rebels Yoda? If they make him look that bad,
that's Rebels animation.
Insert photo here.
That's the Rebels art style. That's completely different.
Yeah.
The Rebels Yoda is
yeah, true.
on Uncanny Valley. Oh my god, there's music in the next room. I had like a million things I was gonna say going into this, and now I just can't think of any of them. That's how it be. I really liked. Okay, strongest episodes. I'm just gonna end up saying all of them. Aftermath, Replacements, Battle Scars, Reunion. The two Ryloth ones, whatever they're called, Devil's Deal and
they were good.
Rescue on Ryloth, and then the last three, War Mantle.
I liked the third episode.
Replacements is a bang. Replacements is one of the best animated TV episodes.
And when it first came out, Oliver thought we were silly saying it was our favorite.
Yes, and now I really like it more. No, I still liked it then a lot, but I still thought the first one was the best. But now I've seen the light.
He's come to terms with the realistic option.
Replacements is so good because it parallels Omega getting closer to the Bad Batch and Crosshair becoming more isolated at the same time and just so far removed from what he once was, and it's so chilling. That scene is probably the darkest kind of statement that the animated shows have made, and the least kid friendly scene. Like
I mean, mate, Ahsoka chops off people's heads.
Yeah, but that's nothing compared to let's go burn the civilians. It's not a war crime if there's no more war.
That is true. That is true.
It's like good soldiers follow orders, so you're not going to comply. Let's go kill some innocents. That scene. I thought we were going to get more scenes like that. That's one thing I hope that they do. Like season 2 should be significantly more like those kind of that dark tone. It doesn't even have to be just violence, but just the tone of it. I'd really like to see more of that kind of tone, and really show this is how different the Empire is from the Republic, but also show certain things, certain aspects where maybe the Republic
wasn't that different.
It wasn't that different.
And wasn't that good.
Well, like look at them using Kaidi Mundi, bring in the flamethrovers on Geonosis.
Aliens, so it's fine.
Great guy.
All of the crew on the Bad Batch were teasing the show every week, right? And like Infested, the Joel Aaron, the main lighting guy.
This one's gonna be dark.
He's like, it's gonna get very dark, and he was referring to the lighting. And I should have seen it from the lighting guy, but I thought, wait, this is all adding up. The episode's called Infested. We're gonna see the genocide of Geonosis by Crosshair.
Amazing.
Callus, and then Corbin, you thought one of the elite squad members was Callus, right?
Yeah. Looking back, we'll insert the photo that I saw, and like it's definitely not him, but like it kind of like just the haircut. It's the only thing. The face is completely different, and like everything, but it was the haircut. Don't blame me. Don't hate, please.
Okay. Who's the favorite Bad Batch member? I swear we haven't even said Hunter's name, but
I think I mentioned it when talking about the Hunter, Echo, and Tech trio.
Oh, that's right. Okay, thank God. Because Hunter's cool. I love Hunter.
Yeah.
He's just like better Mandalorian. He's just better Din Djarin, in my opinion.
A Hunter and Din gonna meet.
Yeah.
No. Hunter's gonna die in season 4.
Probably. Tamira Morrison. Here's the thing: is like Tamira Morrison can't really play the Bad Batch because unless they do some heavy like altering of his face, especially for like Wrecker.
But they could do voice replacement.
Yeah. There's ways around it, yeah. But
They
like,
could do, yeah, exactly. Just do what they did with Maul in Solo.
Their facial structures are different, even. So you could definitely bring in an actor that kind of looks like Tamura Morrison, put some prosthetics on them, and then you dub Morrison's voice over the top of the footage.
What they should have done was
Yeah.
Ashley Eckstein.
Yes.
oh yeah,
I'm sorry. I do like Rosario Dawson, but I still feel like they could have done the same voice. Like,
I hate how her head tails are the wrong length.
That's
still
true.
annoys me so
I feel like
much.
and
Yeah,
she's
they
wearing
have
Victory and
CGI
Death outfit, not her Rebels outfit as well.
I
That
prefer
also
the
annoyed
Victory and
me.
Death outfit. I didn't mind that.
Yeah, but
I think that's the thing.
that
like,
shouldn't still fit.
yeah, no,
She
it's
was
just-
still
it's-
growing
no,
at
it's
the
just
end.
a similar. It just looks similar. It doesn't. It's not necessarily the same
Still.
outfit.
But
Also,
still,
why did you even get that cloak in the first place? You just find it in the wreckage of the Venator. Well, she didn't even have the cloak in Mando though, so that kind of defeats the purpose of what I'm saying. That's actually, I'm honestly thinking that's actually my favorite episode of the show now. Every time I watch it, I like it more. It's weird. I really like the Jedi episode. Like, I still prefer Ashley's portrayal of Ahsoka, but the way the episode's directed is some of Filoni's strongest stuff. Much better than his season 1 episodes.
Yeah. Yes. What about Gregor? We haven't talked about Gregor. Iffy.
I
That's
like
my
seeing him
opinion.
again.
I like seeing him. Don't know about the way they did it.
I don't think that him already being laughing Rebels Gregor was a bit was I don't think
That makes sense. I have a feeling it happened in the explosion.
yeah, that was
Head trauma.
yeah,
Possible.
maybe. But it's just kind of a bit weird that he's just like he's got a completely different voice to the one he has in the Clone Wars because Rebels set that precedent, so they just went straight to that. I
Yeah.
feel like they could have gradually built to that. Because we're definitely seeing more of him. You know, people there's a sect of Bad Batch fans that ship Gregor and Sid already
What the
because
fuck?
they said, oh, we left Gregor with Sid.
Yeah.
That is horrible.
This is why I consider quitting the Star Wars fandom often. Because you get people like that. I think that the Bad Batch has one of my favorite sequences in Star Wars. I really like Episode 8, the Venator engine sequence where they plant the bombs on the Venator, and like that's just kind of like classic like feel good, like intense, like suspenseful Star Wars. I really like that scene. I don't know, it was kind of random, but
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
that episode as a whole is really, really strong.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like I think most of the criticisms for the show come from like, oh, like here's what we want it to be, but it's like what's actually there is already great in its own right, I think. And every episode has something good about it, even if it is just the art style. You can always appreciate something.
Yeah, true.
I
Very
think
true.
that's good.
Man, the visuals are amazing. Like that Gregor episode. Oh, like that looked live action at the start.
Yeah, Daro looks like
That was amazing.
yeah, it looks like they just went to some jungle and just shot stuff. Yeah. Braca was gorgeous. But the shots when they're coming in on Braca, and just the scope of it all and the textures are really, really nice.
Yeah. Yes.
It's the best Star Wars animations ever looked. And I thought Clone Wars Season 7 peaked, but they stepped it up even more, I think.
Yes. Their animation team is getting too good. Way too good.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
It won't be long until their animation will look like CGI.
Well, I mean, it is.
I don't want that though.
It's CG, computer generated imagery, so it is CGI.
True. But like, you know, live action looking CGI.
Talking about like the Old Republic, like the
I'm talking about like, you know, how they put in Leia and Tarkin into A New Hope, into Rogue One. I'm talking about like that sort of animation.
What's that New Hope? I've never heard of it.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm an original trilogy purist. I call it Star Wars.
I was around back then.
New Hope is Star Wars Episode 1, and then
Phantom Menace episode.
Revenge of the Sith is Episode 0.
Oh.
Attack of the Clones is -1. Phantom Menace is -2. I'm just a genius.
And
Thank me later.
the Acolyte is -3.
Yep.
Did you guys like the Rancor episode?
It was okay.
I like it a lot. It's a comfort episode for me. Like if I just want to put on a random Bad Batch episode, I'll go and watch that one.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like the Wrecker and Rancor fight, like the hierarchy. I think
How it just drags on for so long.
it doesn't. It's like 2
Like
seconds.
not as a part of the episode, like in universe.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like then they cut back and he's just like, go to
Yeah, they're
sleep.
just
Yeah,
still going.
yeah. I know.
That
Just,
made me laugh.
yeah, the lazy like hits on the head. Yeah, it's great. The Wrecker going full Order 66 mode. That was a great moment. That was scary.
That was cool.
Horror film, like seeing just Mr. Lovable, big child Wrecker, just become this demonic, like motionless. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really effective. I think they had to cut certain bits out of that because they thought it was going to be a bit too much.
Oh.
Gotta get the director's cut. Whoever directed that episode cut. And there's like I like the little moments the show gave us as well. Like just even like Omega like seeing dirt for the first time. It's glorious.
Yeah. Yeah. And also the sun.
And the sun. Yeah, and she's just like blinded. And even there's that bit where Rex is like looking at his helmet in Battle Scars near the end. And there's play like the kind of like shattered music, you know, when they're on the Venator just before the 66, and they like harken back to that score, and he's like looking at the helmet, and you can just tell he's reflecting. I can't even speak. Reflecting. I bloody love that scene. Like that's just like made for Tana Tribute's edits.
Very true.
I'm not coming at it. Tease.
Yes.
I've still got homework to do. So, is there anything you guys want to talk about before we end up?
I'm not gonna do it. No, I'll try and do it.
If you want to leave, you can, and if Oliver does want to keep going, we can keep talking. But
to myself.
just become a commentary YouTuber.
Honestly,
I mean,
cool.
Sure.
I've done a few of those trailer breakdowns, which is kind of half there.
Yeah, I reckon you could try and join the scripted Star Wars like commentary section of YouTube.
Yeah, I feel like when I'm talking freehand, sometimes I can't get my points out the right way. So maybe that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, or like, I reckon if you wanted to, you could like do analysis of old Star Wars episodes. Like the last Airbender, right?
Yeah.
There's a channel that's popped up that's just exploded with popularity because he's going through once per week. He's analyzing an episode of The Last Airbender individually.
Wow.
And man's went from nothing to thousands of subscribers.
So he's still our idea. That's what me and Oliver started doing, but then
actually,
no, loads of people do retrospectives.
Shh, it was our idea first.
Oh, okay.
We didn't even do it. It's not our idea.
Copyright lawsuit. Here we come.
There was an idea.
There was an idea.
Yeah.
To bring together a team.
You could go through and analyze all the episodes. I reckon that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I actually would like to do that. Except we actually recorded an ambush review, but it was pretty shit.
Oofed.
It was pretty bad. Come on.
It does. You can't just when you want to do a review, you can't just throw like a scripted review. You can't just throw shit at the wall. You need to really think about what.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Put your media class skills to work. Talk about the symbolism and the symbolism of all the camera angles.
We could just do it for Bad Batch. Honestly, I could gush about the symbolism of Bad Batch for ages.
That's true.
Yes.
Oh, did you guys like seeing Scorch?
It was nice, but again, it had no impact on the show, so I don't really care. As someone who hasn't played Republic Commando, I don't really have any connection to the
Fair.
character.
I've
So
only
it is
played a bit of it back in the day.
so Scorch is to me just another funny colored clone trooper.
Yeah, I think that's they did say on Souls.com like it's Scorch inspired, and that was causing controversy. But I think it was definitely meant to be.
I feel like it was ambiguous just because
You can
just for safety's sake.
Yeah, fair.
Like if they want this character to get if they decide in the future that they want this character to get killed, they need to be able to say, guys, don't worry, it's not actually Scorch.
Yeah.
But if
they're keeping it vague for that reason.
Yeah. And you don't need everything to be officially confirmed. I feel like that's what a lot of people on the internet are saying. If it looks like Scorch, and if it looks like Scorch, didn't have many lines. If it looks like Scorch, it is Scorch. And that should be good enough.
Yeah. Good point. One more thing, actually. Did you guys like the politics on Ryloth? I thought that was one of my favorite.
That was cool to see.
Yeah. That was fascinating. Rampart was a good villain, and I liked how he was handling things on Ryloth.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
They continued that Champs and Dula on Free Tar rivalry, and it makes lines from Mace Windu in Clone Wars Season 1 where he's like, oh no, it's Cham's line. He says, your troops will stay for support or something, and something about like the clones staying on Ryloth. Another armed occupation is not a free Ryloth. How long before I'm fighting you, Master Jedi?
Yeah.
And it's all these kind of lines that now you watch the Bad Batch. Oh, is that
it's funny because he'll never have a chance to fight the Jedi. Get it?
Yeah. Because they're all dead.
Bang,
bang. My God, genocide. Am I right, lads?
Pew, pew.
2021 humor.
Yeah.
We've all been locked inside for too long.
True. Yeah. True. Look, I've got to making butterflies out of clay and scissors.
I'm very proud. You're doing very well.
Yes, you're doing. Your mental state is perfect.
Yes. And making music. I never thought I would do that. And no, don't go check it out because none of you will know what it's called.
All right.
Not for you viewers. Sorry.
I should probably head off now. Thank you guys all for watching the podcast. Do you guys have any closing remarks, or are you guys going to keep going?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't mind going for like another 5-10 minutes, I guess. But if you guys I don't know, Corbin, are you done? Angus is done and you're not done. I'm happy to keep talking for like a little bit longer.
I'm done.
Okay. We'll just end it here then.
All right. Subscribe to
Team X Angus.
Subscribe to Team X Angus. So true.
Subscribe.
I have the best upload schedule ever. Funny Minecraft gaming content every 3 months. You can't get better than that. But also subscribe to Tano Tributes. Subscribe to the Rando Mando. We're all dedicated, loving content creators who will treat you as our family.
I don't know about
Have a nice day.
Wait, don't stop recording. I want to say you got to subscribe to Corbin's second channel, Ali. Ali, you got to make him relevant again, guys.
Surely. That'd be great.
But yeah, go subscribe to all our channels. Links will be in the description. But Wandering Togruta for life. Wander. I am Ashley Eckstart wandering through the town. Now I'm Rosario Dawson because I'm in live action. Wow.
Awful.
Oh, I thought it was pretty good.
Awful. No, I'm not saying that specifically. I'm just saying this podcast was awful.
No, it was pretty good. Do you want me to stop recording now?
It was so awful
that it was great.
Somebody actually sat through it all.
Me.
To prove to themselves that they could do it.
Anyway, yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll leave it there.
Catch you later.
Bye. Don't forget cheese. Cheese is expensive.
Oh, he just full on left.
He left us.
Wait.
Ahsoka,
Why did he leave us?
why did you leave?